Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Paige. And today I'm doing like an anti-recommendations video. This is essentially just a list of books that I don't think deserve rights. I'm sorry, I said it. It's harsh, but it's also kind of true though, isn't it? This video is going to be harsh and it's going to be me getting a little bit ranty about some books that everyone seems to talk about or mention or love that I just don't think deserve rights. They shouldn't exist, they shouldn't be talked about, they should just be swept under the rug and ignored like a true Victorian child. Where did that come from? If you enjoy the concept of this video and you kind of want this to become like a regular thing, because I have reading recommendation videos, maybe we can do anti-recommendation videos. Let me know down below because I'd love to know if I should make this a regular component of my channel. Do like and subscribe this video too, it would really help me out, really be appreciated, and I love talking to new people about books. It's kind of why I'm here in the first place, so you may as well. You're already here, you're already watching. Where's the harm, hey? It's just an extra video to watch when you're that bored that you need to come to my channel. Let's get into the books. So I don't have any of these books here with me in physical form, for obvious reasons. I wasn't going to bring them to uni if I don't think they deserve rights. So we're going to have to make do with Popups. The first book that I don't think deserves rights is going to be really controversial, so you just may as well go ahead and unsubscribe now because this one's going to hurt my channel. That is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. I said it. I'm sorry, okay. I know everyone loves this book, but I just found this to be a great disappointment. Everyone was raving about it, and I didn't get the hype. I still don't get the hype. I just found the whole book really confusing. There were major world building issues, and by that I mean there was none. There was no world building. You just get thrust in and nothing is explained, and it's a duology based on absolutely no world building. I wasn't here for it. I wasn't enjoying it. I also just felt like the plot wasn't that original. It kind of just felt like a Throne of Glass remake with some African mythology thrown in, which I did appreciate the African mythology, but again, not explained. I didn't feel like I learned anything about African mythology. It was just a component of the book that made no sense to me. This one, it's a little harsh for me to say it deserves no rights at all. Maybe it deserves like half of a right. It didn't make sense to me. I felt like the world building is kind of the most necessary component of a fantasy duology, and it wasn't there. That ain't it. So, the next book that also doesn't deserve rights is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. If you guys saw any of my vlogs or videos over the summer, you'd know how excited I was for this book. I thought this was going to be it. I thought it was going to be the Gilmore Girls meets fantasy book of my dreams. It was such a letdown. Again, the world wasn't explored very much. World building was poor. All the characters were really annoying. The only character that I actually enjoyed was Darlington, and he was barely in the book at all. I want him back. And to be honest, I would probably read the next book just so I can read more Darlington. It was trying to be so many things. It was a mystery, it was a magical realism, it was a fantasy, it was a school setting, it was a dark academia. It was trying to be too much. And it was a bit too centred in the human and the mundane for me. Magical realism, I think, just isn't really my thing. I think I would have much rather it been much more of a fantasy setting and that fantasy kind of explored, or the magic being a little bit more magical, because it all just felt very mundane. It all just kind of felt like it was college students messing around, getting into some like dark stuff. That worked in The Secret History. The Secret History has that kind of vibe too, and it worked for it. But this book was presenting itself as something more magical than it actually was, and the two components didn't gel very well, and I was really, really disappointed. And we know that Leigh Bardugo can do fantasy settings and magical elements really, really well, and I wish that we could have seen that more in this book. I also think pacing was a ginormous issue here. It was such a big book, and for so much of it nothing was happening. I don't think this book deserves rights. I don't think I should see a million people every single day on my Twitter feed giving it a 5-star. I'm confused. Someone explain what about this book is good, because I don't see it. So I was going to make a whole video centered around this book because it was that much of a disappointment that I felt like it deserved a disappointing books video. However, I'm going to chuck it in here now because it's been months and I haven't made that video. So this is The Fate of the Tearling, book 3 in the Queen of the Tearling series. This was the most disappointing ending I have ever read. Worse so than Mistborn. So the first two books in the series, fantastic. Okay, I love them. I was flying through them, I loved it. We have this young girl, Kelsey I believe her name is, and she's just like thrust into being a queen and everyone's trying to murder her and she doesn't really know what she's doing and there's so much poverty and she's trying to solve all of that and she's actually trying to be a good queen. And then we have the third book. Had way too much of a political message for me. And I say this as someone who enjoys political messages in books. I like being able to see messages and symbols and realism in my books. It's fun to try and work out what the author means, but this was too much. I don't want to spoil the ending, but let's just say it's an extremely left-wing ending. Not even just like slightly left-wing socialism, like we're talking extremely, and I just didn't vibe with that. I don't really know if we should be encouraging that far left-wing. I'm sorry, I said it. This book genuinely made me think, what's the point? Which is not how you want to end a book. You don't want your readers to think, why have I just wasted my time? Nothing really came together. The entire plot could have happened without any of the characters being there. None of them were central to the plot. It would have happened without them. There were hints throughout the whole series that there was going to be the big reveal going on that was going to have some like major bearing on the plot, and it was hinted at the entire way through, and then we got to the third book and it was literally the most irrelevant thing ever. It wasn't a big reveal, nobody cared about the reveal, and the reveal made absolutely no difference. I just was so frustrated and really disappointed because I wanted to see this book end well. It was so strong the whole way through. The ending was just pure shite. Like, if the other books don't deserve rights, this deserves like even less rights. This is by far the worst one on the list. Anti-recommendation to the max. Okay, I'm gonna keep this one short because I DNF'd it, so I can't really answer why it doesn't deserve rights other than what I've read of it, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. My reason for DNFing? Love triangle. Hate them. Hate them when they're handled like this. Don't make me fall in love with a character, don't make me ship it, don't make me love him, and then in the second book you completely destroy him and make him out to be an awful, awful character, pure reason that another male love interest has been brought in. Okay? Can we like give characters more rights than that? Can we appreciate our characters more than that? It hurts me, it really pisses me off that it's by far my most hated trope of all time. As soon as they started doing that to my boy, I was like, nah, I'm out. It doesn't deserve rights, because I think that we need to handle romance with like a little bit more feeling and a little bit more respect than just, girl meets boy, girl loves boy, then all of a sudden girl wants another boy. That's not how love works. Tweet cute. Now, this book just has awful characters. So I love familial elements in books. I think more YA needs to deal with families. Family's a big element, especially of a teenager's life, so should be dealt with more, but not like this. Please don't do it like this. I'd rather take no family than this family. Like, how is this nominated for a Goodreads award? I don't understand. The drama was just incredibly childish and juvenile and too much, and not even just like the teenagers, because I'm not a teenager anymore, so maybe I just don't vibe with it, but like the adult drama was childish and too much, and they're just awful people. Not to mention that one character was used completely as a scapegoat by the author the entire way through. Any drama or issue or problem that arises, the author's just like, oh yeah, it was this person's fault. And then the main characters don't even get mad at that character. It's just glossed over that he almost caused the failure of a business. No one gets mad at him. It's just handled awfully. If you want to read a like modern Romeo and Juliet style book, read Verona Comics, because it is much better than Tweet Cute, I can assure you of that. And the last book on the list is not even a surprise. It's Midnight Sun. So, cultural representation, awful and not there. Female representation, truly awful. Somehow this book manages to be more anti-feminist than the original series. I don't know how this has been allowed to happen, but it has. So if you want to know more about the cultural representation, I have a whole video on that, so you may as well go check that one out. But on female representation, every single female in this book, other than Bella, is completely torn down and trashed by Edward. And in that sense, definitely Meyer. So Jessica, apparently the entire time she's friends with Bella, is just thinking mean and bitchy things about her. Rosalie is awful to Edward because of Bella. I don't understand the need to destroy every single female character for the purpose of this plot. And it's worse that this is written by a woman. It hurts. It truly hurts. This book also has some major pacing issues. Like, at the point I was at 400 pages in. Over 400 pages actually. Edward and Bella still hadn't kissed yet. It was 400 pages of Edward whining and they hadn't even kissed yet. Someone make it make sense. This book just does not deserve rights, and this book truly shouldn't have been published, and whoever published it, I really hope that you're regretting that decision. You're probably not, because I'm assuming it's made you millions. Books like this should not be allowed to be published in 2020. I understand that the book wasn't written in 2020, but the editor should have been like, hey, this is really not appropriate for a modern audience. Can you know, maybe not make it so anti-feminist and slightly racist? Is that too much to ask? Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching this video. I know it was slightly shorter today, but I just really felt like ranting about some books that I absolutely do not recommend. If you vibe with me on any of these, do let me know down below so I don't feel quite so alone and just book shamey. And if you like any of these books, also comment down below and try and argue with me, because maybe you'll convince me to give the books a try. Do like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out some of my other videos. I have a whole heap of reading recommendations videos if you want something more positive and some actual recommendations. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on Friday for my next video. Bye.